What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the 2023 Busch Light Clash entrance, as the Busch Light Clash is 1 week from tomorrow. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. We're going to start by talking about the one car for Trackhouse Racing. Once again, in 2023, Ross Chastain will be piloting the one car. In last year's Busch Light Clash, Ross Chastain actually got eliminated from the last chance qualifier. But in 2022, Ross Chastain had a very strong season, and Trackhouse Racing got stronger as the year progressed. So I think Ross Chastain is going to have a really strong chance of making the main event and making the show, and he'll be a threat, I think, to win the overall event in 2023. Up next, talk about the 2-car for Team Penske. This once again will be piloted by Austin Cindric. Austin Cindric, I can't remember if he made the show or not, but Cindric, of course, did win the 2022 Daytona 500. He looks to have a strong 2023 by winning the exhibition event after Team Penske, of course, won the championship with Joey Logano in 2022, and Austin Cindric looks to have a really strong 2023 Busch Light Clash. Up next, talk about the 3-car for Richard Childress Racing. This once again will be driven by Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon had a very solid year in 2022 where he scored 1 win at Daytona and made the playoffs. Unfortunately, Austin Dillon ended up getting eliminated in the round of 16 after a big struggle from the RSR camp in the round of 16. Austin Dillon looks to bounce back and kick off 2023 on the right foot by winning the Busch Light Clash. Up next, how about the 4-car for Stewart-Haas Racing? This course will be driven by Kevin Harvick. Now, this will be Kevin Harvick's final Busch Light Clash, is that at the end of 2023, he is going to retire from the NASCAR Cup Series. Kevin Harvick's been a driver who kind of had an up and down 2022 where he scored 2 victories, but the team was struggling throughout the season. Kevin Harvick looks to start the year off way better for Stewart-Haas Racing than it did in 2022 by trying to win the 2023 Busch Light Clash. Up next, how about the 5-car for Hendrick Motorsports? This will once again be driven by Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson had some controversy in his last year's Busch Light Clash with Justin Haley, where he got into Justin Haley and completely dumped him. Kyle Larson looks to have a much stronger run trying to win his first ever Busch Light Clash in 2023, and also looks to try to win his second NASCAR Cup Series championship. We'll see if he can get it done. He definitely will be a threat in the 2023 edition of the Busch Light Clash. Up next, how about the 6-car for RFK Racing? This once again will be driven by Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski had a hit-or-miss 2022 season where it looked like RFK was looking at points really strong, but there are a couple big penalties, a DQ, also 100-point penalty in 2022, and Keselowski looks to have a much stronger 2023. Hopefully he will do that, and we'll see if Brad Keselowski can be a threat in 2023. Up next, how about the 7-car for Spire Motorsports? This once again will be driven by Corey LaJoie in the 2023 Busch Light Clash. Corey LaJoie had a really not that great of a year in 2022. His only real big highlight was basically that Atlanta race where he and Chase Elliott were going out and battling for the victory. I think Corey LaJoie will have a chance to make the show. Seems like Spire's short track program was pretty solid, and his track does require a lot of talent, so I think LaJoie does have a chance to make the show. Up next, how about the 8-car for Richard Childress Racing? There's a new driver in the 8-car in 2023 as Kyle Busch will drive this 8-car in the Busch Light Clash and throughout the 2023 season. The sponsor has not been revealed for Kyle Busch, but Kyle Busch was really strong in this event last year, was up front contending for the victory, and also the 8-car before transmission problems and transaxle issues came into play. The 8-car was up front and leading and dominating. I expect Kyle Busch to be a threat, and he will definitely for sure be a threat in the 2023 Busch Light Clash as well as making the field. Up next, how about the 9-car for Hendrick Motorsports? This will once again be driven by Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott had a really strong 2022 where he scored 5 victories and looked to start off the year right by winning his first ever Busch Light Clash. Now, Chase Elliott had a struggling 2022 edition to the Busch Light Clash. If I remember correctly, he brought out the first or second caution in the 2022 edition, and he looks to bounce back in 2023 by winning his first ever Busch Light Clash. Looks to have a much stronger 2023 edition. Up next, how about the 10-car for Stewart-Haas Racing? This will once again be driven by Eric Almirola. Eric Almirola had a hit-or-miss 2022 where it looked like he was a little better in 2021, but also kind of wasn't as good as he was at points in 2021 as well. Eric Almirola looks to have a much better 2023. It's unclear if this will be his last Busch Light Clash, as it could be his final year driving the 10-car, and he could retire at the end of the season, but he looks to have a strong 2023 and hopes to start off the year right in the 10-car. Up next, how about the 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This will once again be driven by Denny Hamlin. This could be a contract year for Denny Hamlin. It is, in fact, a contract year for Denny Hamlin. So this could be the last time we see Denny Hamlin with Joe Gibbs Racing in this event and in the 11 car in general. Now, Denny Hamlin also could get extended. That being said, though, Hamlin really wasn't that great in this event last year. He looks to bounce back in 2023. Have a really big bounce back year because he kind of struggled at the beginning of the year, fell out of the race early, and looks to have a much better year by kicking off a strong 2023. Up next, how about the 12 car for Team Penske? This will once again be driven by Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney has some tempers in last year's event with Eric Jones, so he looks to not have any tempers and looks to get out clean by trying to win his first ever Busch Light Clash. He came close to winning in 2021, but he and Chase Elliott had contact at the Daytona Road Course, and he looks to have a much better 2023 in the Busch Light Clash by trying to win his first. Up next, how about the 14 car for Stewart-Haas Racing? This will once again be driven by Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe has already signed a multi-year contract extension with Stewart-Haas Racing, so he's already had a pretty big week as a matter of fact, and he looks to try to win his first ever Busch Light Clash. He'll be very strong, good on the short tracks last year, end of the year much better than it started, and looks to start off the year as well as he ended in 2023. Up next, how about the 15 car for Ricker Racing? This race, it will be driven by J.J. Yeley. Now, J.J. Yeley has driven for Ricker Racing in many races in the past, so this is not a shock or a surprise that J.J. Yeley is going to be driving this car. He'll be looking to make the show and help Ricker Racing make the show. Last year, this car actually made the show with Ryan Preece, so if he can make the main event, he could have a chance to get it done, and we'll see what J.J. Yeley can do. He drives a 15 car in the 2023 edition of the Busch Light Clash. Up next, how about the 16 car for Kaulig Racing? This will once again be driven by AJ Allmendinger. AJ Allmendinger jumps up full-time to the Cup Series in 2023 and looks to kick off the season right by winning the Busch Light Clash. The 16 team looked really fast. Kaulig was really strong in this event last year, so you do know that Kaulig will be very fast, and it will show a lot of pace and speed. I expect AJ to be quick, and I expect the 16 car to be extremely strong. Up next, how about the 17 car for RFK Racing? This will once again be driven by Chris Buescher in 2023. Chris Buescher's big highlight in 2022 was winning at Bristol Motor Speedway. So he looks to have a much more improved season, be more consistent with strong on road courses as well. I can't remember if he made the main show or not last year for the Busch Light Clash, but he'll look to be bounced back in 2023, and let's see if he can do that by winning the Busch Light Clash or making the show. Up next, how about the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This will once again be driven by Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. is also on a contract year, and it's possible this could be the last time we see Martin Truex Jr. in the Busch Light Clash. Now, Martin Truex Jr. has never won the Busch Light Clash, but he's looking to win his first ever Busch Light Clash. He looks to have a strong 2023, kick off the season on a really good way, and let's see if Martin Truex Jr. can be an absolute big threat and a big shot at someone who could have a chance to win the 2023 Busch Light Clash. Up next, how about the 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? This will once again be driven by Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell had a very good year in 2022, scoring 3 victories. And he was pretty solid in this event last year, too, and was up front in the event as well. So I think Christopher Bell will be a threat to win the race overall. I think the 20 car's got a lot of good pace and a lot of good speed, and I think Christopher Bell is going to be a threat to win the event. Up next, how about the 21 car for the Wood Brothers Racing? This will once again be driven by Harrison Burton. Now, Harrison Burton, of course, does have to make the show overall to get into the event, but he had a big week already as he and Zane Smith actually won the Michelin Pilot Cup race yesterday. So we'll see if Harrison Burton can bring a lot of that momentum to this event and can kick the season off better than he did in 2022 because he didn't have a great 2022. Hopefully this team can do better in 2023. Up next, how about the 22 car for Team Penske? This is being driven by defending Busch Light Clash winner and defending NASCAR Cup Series champion, Joey Logano. Joey Logano had a really strong 2022, was really fast in this event last year, and will be looking to defend and win it this time around. I think Joey Logano will have a good chance to get it done, strong on short tracks, and Logano will be a threat to win this event. Up next, how about the 23 car for 23XI Racing? This will once again be driven by Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace had a hit-or-miss season in 2022, but by the end of the year, Bubba Wallace was becoming a threat. And I think in 2023, in this year's edition, I think he's going to be a threat to win the Busch Light Clash. I expect him to be up front. I expect the 23 car to be really, really strong, and I think he will kick off the season on a really strong note and will 100% be a contender in winning the overall event. I think expect him to be fast, and I think he's going to be really quick. Up next, how about the 24 car for Hendrick Motorsports? This will once again be driven by William Byron in 2023. William Byron had a pretty good year last year, was really strong in this event as well, ran top 10 pretty much all day long, and I believe finished in the top 5 as well in this event last year. He looked to start off the year well by trying to win his first ever Busch Light Clash. I think the 24 car is going to be really strong and very fast, and I think he will be a threat to win this event. Up next, how about the 31 car for Kaulig Racing? This will once again be driven by Justin Haley. Justin Haley had a really strong run last year in this event, actually won his heat and qualified in the top 5, but unfortunately he had controversy with Kyle Larson in this event in 2022. Hopes to avoid controversy, hopes to make it into the main event, and looks to try to bounce back and get his first ever Busch Light Clash victory. Let's see what he can do. Up next, how about the 34 car for Front Row Motorsports? This will once again be driven by Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell had a pretty strong year in 2022, but he'll have a new crew sheet this year as Blake Harris will work with Alex Bowman in 2023, and Michael McDowell will have Travis Peterson. Michael McDowell looks to have a really good year in 2023, start the year off right, and look to have a great run in the Busch Light Clash. Up next, how about the 38 car for Front Row Motorsports? This will once again be driven by Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland ran very, very good in 2022 at points, especially on road courses, but also struggled throughout the 2022 season. And much like Michael McDowell, he has a new crew chief in Ryan Burgundy, who basically was working as engineer for Michael McDowell. So we'll see what Todd Gilliland can do if he can make the main show. I think he had some trouble with Eric Almirola in last year's event. Let's see what Todd Gilliland can do. Up next, how about the 41 car for Stewart Haas Racing? There's a new driver in the 41 car in 2023 as Ryan Preece moves up from the Truck Series up to the Cup Series on a full-time basis and takes over for Cole Custer this season. He looks to kick off the season on a really high note, but trying to make the main event. He actually made it with Rick Ware Racing Equipment last year, so you know that Ryan Preece can get it done, and I think Ryan Preece will be a pretty big threat to make it into the main event, and I think he's got a shot to get it done in this year's event. Up next, how about the 42 car for Legacy Motor Club? This will be driven by Noah Gragson this season as Ty Dillon moves to a new organization and Noah Gragson jumps up to the Cup Series on a full-time basis. Noah Gragson's got some decent expectations going into this event, but you know Noah Gragson is going to be really aggressive. He's going to be up front, and I think he will be a contender to try to win this event overall. Up next, how about the 43 car for Legacy Motor Club? This will be driven once again by Eric Jones. Eric Jones picked up a win in 2022 in the Southern 500, and I think this team is going to be better than what they were in 2022. So they're looking to have a much stronger season with Jimmy Johnson coming in to be part owner of the team. You know the team is going to be looking at a much stronger year, and I think Eric Jones could be a threat. Up next, how about the 45 car for 2311 Racing? There's a new driver in the 45 car this year as Ty Reddick will drive the 45 car in 2023. Ty Reddick had a really strong year in 2022. In this event last year, Ty Reddick was actually going to be a threat to win the race overall, but unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier with the 8 car, he had transaxle issues. He looks to have a much better run and looks to be more competent, and hopefully we'll see if Reddick can be a threat and this team can do much better. Kurt Busch, who drove his car last year, did not make the show after some contact, and I think we'll see him have a good chance to make it. Was strong on short tracks last year. Up next, how about the 47 car for JTG Doherty? This will once again be driven by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had a very, very strong kind of a not really great 2022, actually, and be looking to make the Busch Light Clash in 2023. Now, he did make last year's Busch Light Clash, so that's something that definitely can benefit him for sure. But other than that, there's really not much that I think that can benefit him this season. So hopefully Ricky Stenhouse Jr. can have a much better run. Hopefully he can make the show. Up next, how about the 48 car for Hendrick Motorsports? This will once again be driven by Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman had kind of a hit or miss 2022, did get a win, but unfortunately got eliminated in the round of 12 after some issues and unfortunately suffering concussion-like symptoms. Alex Bowman looks to bounce back, got a new crew chief this year in Blake Harris, so looks to bounce back and looks to have a much better season. We'll see if Alex Bowman can get it done and if he can bounce back. Up next, how about the 51 car for Rick Ware Racing? This will once again be driven by Cody Ware, who returns to the 51 car. They'll have a new crew chief in 2023. I believe Billy Plordy will be the crew chief for Cody Ware this season. Cody Ware actually was pretty solid in this event last year. Rico Racing looked really strong in the beginning of the year at this event. So I would not count out Cody Ware making the main show in the main event. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but Cody Ware looks to have a strong start to 2023. Up next, how about the 54 car for Joe Gibbs Racing? There's a new driver in the 54 car because the 18 car is now the 54 car, and it will be driven by Ty Gibbs, who will have the Monster Energy colors, and he will have his crew chief, Chris Gale, in 2023. Ty Gibbs had a really strong Xfinity Series season and won the championship. However, he didn't do so good in Cup. He's going to have a lot of pressure going into this season. We'll see if he can go through that pressure and have a really strong year in 2023. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully he can have a much better 2023 and see if he can do better in Cup. He's going to have a lot of pressure this year. Let's see what he can do. Up next, how about the 77 car for Spire Motorsports? There's a new driver in the 77 car as Ty Dillon is driving the 77 car in 2023. Ty Dillon, I can't remember what sponsors he'll have for this event, but Ty Dillon looks to have a really strong start to the year, make that 77 car much stronger, and I think he could have a chance to make the show in main event. He really had a lot of tempers flaring, and a lot of people upset with him. He was really aggressive in last year's event, and we'll see if he's aggressive in 2023 like he was in 2022. Up next, how about the 78 car for Live Fast Motorsports? It's been confirmed that BJ McLeod will drive his car and will have Celsius on this car in the 2023 edition of the Busch Light Clash. BJ McLeod looks to make the 78 team a lot faster. They've got a Chevy in alliance this year, and let's see if BJ McLeod can make the show. And if he can do that, I think that would be really impressive. He's going to be in much better equipment, hopefully, and we'll see if these ECR engines can help this team throughout the year. Let's see what happens with the team this season. And finally, driving the 99 for Trackhouse Racing once again is Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez had a pretty big breakout year, got to the round of 12, nearly made it to the round of 8, and looks to make the start year off right by winning his first ever Busch Light Clash. Daniel Suarez in the 99 team looked pretty strong near the end of the year, and I think you're going to see Daniel Suarez be really strong and really fast throughout the 2023 season. So I expect Daniel Suarez to be a threat. I think he's going to be strong, and I think he'll have a really good 2023. So that is going to be it for the 2023 Busch Light Clash intros, because that is your Busch Light Clash intros for 2023. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, notifications on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below over that, and comment below your thoughts below on today's video. What are your thoughts about the intros, and tell me who you think is going to win the 2023 Busch Light Clash. My pick for the Busch Light Clash is going to be coming out later this week. Also, throughout this year as well, I'm going to be having intros videos for every single week. I would expect that the next intros will come out, which will be the Daytona 500 intros. That's going to come out the week of the Daytona 500, probably the Monday or the Tuesday of the week is when that is going to come out, or probably actually the weekend before, probably the week before. We'll have to wait and see when that drops, and all the intros videos are going to drop. A lot of content on the way. The Rolex 24 review is going to be coming out, and there might be videos throughout the day of looking at some of the wrecks and other things that happen in the Rolex 24. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.